Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to trace a design onto the fabric. So here I have taken a cotton fabric, and the very first method that you can do is draw directly. If you're good at drawing directly is good, but if you have to trace the same design multiple times, it's always better to use other methods. If it's just one motif, then you can draw it freehand. To draw freehand, first thing we do is never use a pen. You can use any normal pencil, HB pencil, but make sure you have very light hand, meaning whatever you draw, you shouldn't press and draw. It should be just visible while embroidering. So it should just be visible to you. You never should put pressure on the pencil. So if you see here, you can hardly see it. Okay. Next method is drawing directly but using a air erasable pen. You get them easily on Amazon. So I have two here. It will be written air erasable marker for fabric. So choose that. You get water erasable and air erasable. So whichever suits you, you can buy. So here the same thing. So what happens here is you can draw any design and the fear of going wrong is not there, because even if you go wrong, after few hours this whatever you have traced will vanish. Okay, so this is good for shorter designs where you'll finish it sooner. So because if you draw the whole design and then wait till tomorrow, the next day you will see that it has already vanished. So here you can use these pens when you have a smaller project and you can finish it within an hour or something, then you can use these pens. So you can see, so again it is very light. So this is direct drawing. Next I'll show you is the very oldest method. We all have used it. So it is tracing using a carbon sheet. So here I have already drawn my design onto a butter sheet. So butter paper you get in different thickness and different quality. So any regular butter sheet is okay. You get it in any store where you get all these art supplies. So for tracing on fabric, I prefer black carbon. Don't use blue color because it will spread on to the fabric. So this part where the ink is faces the fabric. Okay, then your design goes up. In this method what happens, you need to be really sure where your design has to be placed. So the marking of the design has to be made. Like suppose if I want the design at this place, so I should make sure that my design aligns with that. Okay, and then holding this, I just slide my carbon sheet underneath so the placement doesn't change. Now using any ballpoint pen, I will just trace over the design. So here put slight pressure so that you can trace it, and whatever you trace comes on to the bottom of the fabric. So this design I have traced from another book, so it's not freehand. So those who cannot draw freehand, this method is best. But again, if you go on tracing at many points using the same tracing sheet, the tracing sheet will tear after few tracings. So this also is useful if you have just repeat of one or two motifs. Like the same motif you're repeating at two places, it's fine. But more than that, this method also will not work. Okay, so I've drawn. Once I'm sure I have traced everything, slightly lift and here is the design. Okay, so if I need to place this again at a distance of like 2 inches or something, I again need to mark it. Okay, again need to place this design the same way and then slide the carbon sheet underneath and trace again. So as I said, this method, since you'll go on tracing over the design, this paper will tear. So this is the second method where you can use. One is directly drawing with pen or pencil, erasable pen, not the ballpoint pen. Second method is using a carbon sheet. Now let me show you a third method, which is the most used method in all boutiques. It is known as the prick and pounce method. So now what I've done is I have traced the same design onto a butter sheet. So this is a little thicker butter sheet than the previous one. If you see, the previous one is very thin and this one is a little thicker. So if you ask them for a thicker butter sheet, they will provide. So now what I'll do is I will pierce holes into this. So for this I will need a regular needle. So your regular needle, which is a little thicker than usual, can be used, or something like this. You get this big needles, this also can be used. Regular needles also can be used, but let it be a little thick. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll pierce holes as per the design. Now to pierce holes, you just take any pillow. This will be easier. I've taken a pillow and then as per the design I'm just going to pierce holes. Don't pierce them too close by because then they will tear, the paper will tear and the design won't be seen. Let it be a little further away at equal distance. You can use an old pillow if you're worried that it'll get spoiled, but I've been doing this regularly. Nowadays in the market you get pinning machine as well. So if you use the pinning machine, it's faster and easier. So if you see, you can see the holes. So I'll just finish all this and we'll resume again. So here you see I have finished pricking the design. Wherever there's a corner, make sure you prick that part, otherwise you won't get the edges neatly. Okay, so here is my design. Next what I'll do is, you need a powder, stamping powder. You get in different colors. Okay, some people use even powder, face powder mixed in kerosene. Earlier we used to mix it with kerosene, but nowadays kerosene is not available, so you can mix it with thinner as well. Okay, so always while printing in this method, test it on a piece of waste fabric, same quality waste fabric, before doing it on the actual fabric. So here, since I'm using a white fabric, I will take a black printing powder. You get it in red, but most widely used is white and black. So here I will just mix. So here the thing is, it shouldn't be too watery or it shouldn't be too thick. Okay, and don't worry about the kerosene or the thinner. The color, I mean the smell will like vanish after a few hours. Just keep it in the air and your client will not have any problem. So next what I'll do is, I will take cotton. I will just mix it like this. So it shouldn't be too watery or too thick. Okay, now I'll hold the design. Again, mark where you exactly want, hold it, and then press it against the holes wherever your design is. Don't move the tracing paper, make sure you're holding it in one go. You need to do this. Now slowly lift and you see the design is printed. Okay, now this is known as a kaka. Kaka is nothing but a tracing sheet with a set design. This can be reused again and again because we are just printing it using kerosene. This can be wiped off clean and preserved for the next thing. So here in this method what happened is the tracing paper tears. In this method it is you can reuse at least 100 times before you throw it away. So this is the most used method of tracing in all boutiques and fashion houses.